that they refer to non-union actors as scabs says a lot about their character. There are a lot of people who would be so happy to take the places of all of these actors. So pardon me, but I'm gonna get to work.
Let's take a look at this, at another scab influencer on TikTok.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because I think it's funny. So,
all right,
that's
okay,
really...
okay. Are we ready for this?
Yeah. So this guy, he's not a scab nurse. He is a, well, it's not clear actually if he did what he is planning on doing, if he would be a scab in the SAG strike, which is even more, which makes it even more absurd that he is talking about. I mean, literally, he said, I will be the leader of the scabs. And it's not even clear that this production is and he actually said later that it's a non-union production. And so it's not scabbing, in fact. And
he's stealing valor from scabs. Wow.
Stolen scab valor. Yeah. Really kind of crazy stuff. So, you know, the controversy started when he said, "Oh, I've got a big announcement. It might change my life. I might have my own show." Blah blah blah. And you know, rightfully, people were like, "What are you talking about, buddy?" You know,
there are there's no new shows happening right now.
And so somebody commented like, "That sounds cool. Give us an update after the strike." You know, and so so this was his response to the first little bit of kind of tentative pushback that he got from his announcement. Let's take a look at that one.
Okay, this is something that I totally disagree with. I don't care if Hollywood is striking right now. I'm not union. I'm not part of the union. I'm never gonna be. I don't care if they label me a scab. The fact that they refer to non-union actors as scabs says a lot about their character.
Okay.
I'm gonna work.
Hold on.
There are a lot of people who would be so happy.
Nobody refers to non-union actors as scabs. People refer to people who cross picket lines and take union workers' jobs as scabs.
There is a difference.
And see, this is kind of and we'll get into why maybe he has kind of this persecution complex, this grievance, you know, this kind of grievance-driven mindset, because, you know, the idea that like, oh, just anybody who doesn't work union is a scab, like that's not the case. Nobody says that. And so why are you know, if your production is non-union, why are you feeling so aggrieved by people calling scabs? It's pretty strange. And but it does not, it said, but the thing that it says about people's character when they call scabs is that they are good.
Right, they understand solidarity and they get it.
Yep. All right, let's continue.
The fact that they refer to non-union actors as scabs says a lot about their character. I'm gonna work. There are a lot of people who would be so happy to take the places of all of these actors. I could have articulated that a little bit better, but any day I'm going...
We can stop there for a second. Yeah, you could have articulated that a little bit better by not articulating it. That's the way that you could have articulated that better, because that is what everybody says about every strike, that, oh, there are so many people that would be willing to be in your spot. And so therefore, you got to lie down and take it. You got to walk away from the bargaining table with your tail between your legs and accept whatever the bosses tell you.
Right. We're just all hostages, just captive.
Right. We have no agency. Yeah. Terrible.
You know, if baseball players went on strike, I would volunteer to play. But you know what? I don't think they would put me on the field.
There you go.
I mean, I wouldn't actually volunteer to play because I would never scab on someone. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this idea is kind of silly.
Right.
Yes, there are plenty of desperate, hungry people in this country, and that is a fucking shame, right? That is not something that we should just be okay with. And so, can you argue in good faith that maybe there are some people who would jump up at the opportunity? Maybe, because we have literally hundreds of thousands of people unhoused in this country. Millions of people don't even have a health insurance in this country. And so, yeah, you probably can find some poor, desperate souls who might be willing to do that. But that's not an argument in your favor. Sorry.
And the desperation and also, the ideology that's driven into people from birth about this, atomization and individualization, and we don't live in a society, it's just a bunch of individuals and we have to do the best. We have to have an ethic of greed. That's what the capitalists want us to do. And that is not a good human-centered ethic, I don't think. Centering your worldview around greed, I don't think is good.
It's not, but it makes sense, right? It makes sense that we would have a culture that elevates greed and individualism and selfishness because we have a socioeconomic system that is literally predicated on one prime directive, which is the private pursuit of profit. Okay, so that's what that logic is what undergirds the entire system in which we live in, private profit. So it's no surprise that we would have a culture that reflects that and elevates greed. But my message to this person here is you don't have to accept that. You don't have to be a part of that.
Yeah. I would also challenge the notion that there are actually so many people who would be willing to take the place of all these 160,000 actors because, like we said earlier in the program, a lot of these actors, most of them, 87% of them, make less than $26,000 a year. And therefore, they have to work 2 and 3 and 4 other jobs.
So there's actually not that many people volunteering to do that. And I think it's probably reflected in the fact that how many folks try that kind of career and then wash out of it.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily because of a lack of talent, but because it's just not a very ideal situation and it's just not going to work for a lot of folks.
Yeah, it's not a cakewalk, in fact, to be an actor, despite, the fact that some actors make good money, which is even not the majority of them. But okay, we can continue.
For independent film over anything that Hollywood is making, I'm so much more inclined to watch a verite-style film. There's artifice and verite. Artifice is your Avengers, Jurassic Park. Verite is like Schindler's List, Lady Bird, Nightcrawler, all grounded movies, not big on special effects. Movies. It's not a high budget. For me, I want movies and shows that have intimacy with the audience, like The Bear on Hulu, or Mr. In Between, also on Hulu. Freaking Succession, dude. I have the word verite tattooed on my arm. I want to make movies that portray life for what it is, no matter how comedic or tragic, and that usually doesn't take a big budget. So pardon me, but I'm going to get to work.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Yeah. Really gross stuff there from that guy. And you can imagine it was not received very well. He got lots of stitches and lots of comments, trying to educate him about why scabbing is bad, solidarity is good, all of this kind of stuff, and also how a lot of those projects that you mentioned are union projects.
Right. I believe that the vast majority of the artists that are walking out also want to connect with the audience, right? Also want to make quality art that people would want to tattoo on themselves. I think that's probably a pretty wide felt perception, right? That they are trying to do good work and create good art. So yeah, what that has to do with being a scab, I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah. Okay, so he responded to the second round of much more intense criticism, if you can imagine, in an even worse way. Let's play that.
I just got a potentially life-changing phone call. I got a message this morning from a guy at a company who said, hey, we would love to develop and fund a TV show starring you meaning me. His wife is the CEO, and apparently she... I'm going to be quoted in the New York Times for what I've been saying on here. So I wanted to come on here and apologize for stating myself so poorly. A lot of my information was not even correct.
Okay, so you can see here it's got the super standard YouTube apology video up, but I missed a TikTok in between there, and so you just heard a little bit of what we just played was the first one actually. We started with the second one.
Yeah.
And then there's a third one that apparently I missed, and this that we have on the screen right now is the fourth one. Okay, so this is kind of convoluted, but the thing that we missed was where he responded to the second round of backlash by saying that that's where he said, I'll be the leader of the Scabs. I don't care if I'm banned from Hollywood. And Hollywood doesn't know who they're messing with, because not only are they going up against me, get this, Adam, do you know who else he has on his side?
Who?
God.
Oh. That was my next guess.
Not only going to get up against this guy, he's got God on his side.
The Lord.
The Lord, his Lord and Savior, is going to help him scab and defeat Hollywood, was what he said. And I'm gonna
pray for him.
Yeah, and he talked about how the company that reached out to him is Christian but not preachy, and conservative but not Republican, and that's perfect, he says. So yeah, kind of weird stuff there. But okay, so after that, his management team very obviously talked to him and was like, dude, you gotta stop this. You're not doing good here. This is not gonna be good for the film when it comes out.
Right.
So you gotta stop. And so this is the result. This is his apology video.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when you've got to make this video.
I'm going to be quoted in the New York Times for what I've been saying on here. So, I wanted to come on here and apologize for stating myself so poorly. A lot of my information was not even correct. And I would go from making one point to making a whole other point, even in the same few sentences, and I'm really sorry for that. I don't like that I do that. Because I fully stand with the unions and their strikes against the corporate greed that is inside of Hollywood. Hollywood's gatekeeping and...
Wait a second. Is he a hostage somewhere? Boy, he has changed his tune a little bit. Like, somebody got a hold of him.
Yeah, what you can't see. Yeah, what you can't see off camera is Sean O'Brien is holding a shotgun to like his child or something.
Yeah, there's about 25 UMWA and UAW and Teamsters just hanging out right there by him. Yeah. Watching to see what he'll say.
Yeah.
Monopolizing the whole industry has to be counteracted in some way. Striking is the best, the loudest, and the most efficient way to do that. To have their unfair...
Okay, so here we go. This is all so far. It's pretty good. We're, again, about to take a turn, though. Get ready for it.
Oh.
Their treatment be heard, that is the way. But what I also support is independent film. For example, Mel Gibson, no matter what you think of him, funded The Passion of the Christ back in 2003 with $45 million of his own money. It was the highest grossing rated R film up until Deadpool. I understand that he made that money, that he funded it with union money, absolutely. But if the writers and actors push their own productions through the wheel, think of the power that they would hold on top of the power that they already have with the strikes. The TV show that I hope to develop is non-union. I should have clarified myself that I am non-union as well. Taking union jobs from union workers is not my intent. It's not what I'm doing. I'm taking a non-union job, and to my understanding, that is not crossing the picket line fence. That is not scabbing, unless you want to condemn anybody that takes work during a strike, but I don't see how you can do that. I can't even promise you that the company would go to union actors even if the strikes were not happening right now. Once again, I am so sorry for the confusion that I started. If I don't plan out and think ahead of what I'm going to say, I articulate myself so poorly, and I think that's really unfortunate. New York Times and Rolling Stone are going to quote me now. So I wanted to come on here and state my stance a little bit more clearly because I did such a bad job at that. So anyways, I hope that we understand each other a little bit better. Peace, everybody.
Well,
all right.
There you go. As idol is Mel Gibson. That's his...
Blink twice. Blink 3 times if you're not okay.
Yeah.
Something that's really weird. I'm not sure where you find these people, Jacob. You know, you bring these people to me, and it just reminds me, like, oh yeah, there's a reason why I try to stay off these corners of the internet. Yeah, but unfortunately, you know, I can't forget that. It just happened, and here we are. That poor guy, you know, he's going to be quoted in the New York Times, and I bet you that's not exactly what he envisioned when someone, you know, if someone had told him, like, hey, man, you're going to be in the New York Times soon. It's probably not what he thought.
Yeah, definitely not. And really, the funny thing is
this the finding out stage
right.
that the kids talk about?
Yes.
You know,
he is finding out. He is sowing. After he had so much fun reaping, now he is sowing. And really, the funny thing is that none of this had to happen because it does sound like some,
like he
random
totally is not related to this,
right? Some random, independent Christian production company that is, not under the AMPTP agreements or anything,
right.
So like none of this had to happen, but here we are, and so. Some other stuff about him came up on my For You page, and apparently this isn't the first time he's had controversy. A while back, he apparently commented on a video of a sexual assault survivor, talking about their story, and his comment was, "Meanwhile, in asterisk, dances provocatively." Apparently commenting on other videos that this creator had.
Wow, that's
and then
messed up.
Yeah, pretty messed up. And he continued, people pushed back against him on that, and he continued to defend himself and say like, people shouldn't people should dress modestly and stuff like that. And I'm not apologizing. So real weird guy. I'm sure that all of our SAG kin are glad that he is not in their union and is not going to be. So.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.